With Kingdom's release date confirmed and just around the corner, it is finally time for you guys to hear my thoughts on the WFC Netflix shows. I'm going to be reviewing both Seige and Earthrise. Siege today, Earthrise probably in a couple videos or so, getting ready for the release of Kingdom, which I will obviously review as soon as I finish it. Probably gonna end up binge watching it, so probably won't take too long, but let's get into this. But let me first start off with something about this show, because I'm going to be straight up with you guys. For people who are a huge fan of this show, who've really loved what has been done with these shows, I can say with 100% certainty that I am not a fan of these shows at all. I honestly think that these are probably some of the weakest Transformers media in quite some time. Like, if you've watched Cyberverse is excellent. I would highly recommend Cyberverse. And that one came out a little bit earlier than these Netflix shows. And yeah, this Netflix show, like, honestly, it's done next to nothing for me, and I think the big problems with this Netflix show are that they just feel really lazy and boring. Like, everybody talks like this, and it's supposed to be all dramatic, and it's not. It's just boring as shit, and you're just like, just get on with it already. Like, this could have all been, you could have had all of this done within like 3 episodes, but you had to do it like this to stretch it out to over 6 episodes. Not over 6, exactly 6. And also, the voice acting. Oh my god, this is like the worst voice acting ever. Every character sounds exactly the fucking same, and there's not one character that really stands out. I guess, I don't know. There are some exceptions. Elita 1 voice actor, I think, is pretty decent. Jetfire's voice actor is okay. Megatron is okay, but for the most part, I think the voice acting is really, really not good. But those are just a couple of the things I wanted to get off my chest before we actually get into this. Now, let's jump into this. This is, of course, the review of Earthrise. I mean, not Earthrise. Oh, no, not Earthrise. It's Siege. Siege, which, in my very unpopular opinion, is the better one. Don't worry, we're gonna get to Earthrise. Oh, my lord. But Siege, this show is like the definition of a 5 out of 10 show for me. Like, this is the most 5 out of 10 show I have ever seen in my life. Like, this is just, this show just gives me nothing. I feel nothing from this show. I only really remember, like, I remember, like, the Sound Blaster scene and the scene at the end when Omega Supreme busts out of the floor. By the way, I'm not holding back on spoilers. If you haven't seen these shows, then you're probably not going to watch them. So, yeah, I'm not holding back on spoilers. But, yeah, I really only remember, like, the big memorable scenes, and everything else is just a total blur. Like, I cannot for the life of me remember anything besides, like, those really memorable scenes, them, like, walking, and then there was that scene, them, like, walking to the Ark, and I don't know, there was that one scene where, like, they, like, walked into Cybertron City of Kaon, and there was, like, a bunch of, Autobots, like, impaled through spears and, like, blood everywhere. Like, they really did try to make it like a dark and more edgy take on it, but it really didn't come off all that well. And also, one thing I found super weird about this show is in the first episode, Wheeljack curses. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, there's going to be cursing in this show. But that is literally the one time it happens in the show. Wheeljack calls Bumblebee a pain in the ass. And then nothing, they never curse ever again in the entire show. And as someone who loves cursing, except not to the extent that lots of things like to do, like Spiral. I'm looking at you, Spiral, saying the F word like 27,000 times in the first 20 minutes of the movie. Like, people don't talk like that, but I'm a fan of cursing, and I like seeing cursing used in little amounts. Like, perfect example, Breaking Bad. I mean, Breaking Bad's a perfect example for anything, but still, I kind of was hoping, I was kind of happy that they were going to put cursing in it, because Wheeljack clearly calls Bumblebee a pain in the ass, and then a curse word is never said for the rest of the show, not even in Earthrise. So yeah, I don't know, maybe I missed one. If you heard another curse word somewhere, let me know in the comments, because I have not rewatched these. I will not be rewatching these, especially Earthrise. But yeah, this, like, it really feels like they did a lot of things really weird with that. One thing I will say I do really like about about these shows, the opening credits, pretty cool. I like it. It's a fun, very quick little intro, and yeah, I was a fan of that. That was pretty cool. Like, nice visual and whatnot. Definitely like that. Character-wise, let's talk about character-wise. Oh my god, what characters? What characters? There's no characters in this freaking show. Like, the only real character is, like, Optimus Prime and Megatron. Megatron's okay in this one. He's certainly better in this one than Earthrise. So is Optimus Prime, but not much. Okay. I'm gonna get much more into this in Earthrise, but this Optimus Prime is just a moron. Like, he's probably the weakest Optimus Prime take I have ever seen personally. He's really dumb. Not so much in Siege. This is certainly something more in Earthrise, but he's just he's not interesting. I don't think the voice actor is all that good. I'm sorry, but I don't think the voice actor is all that good. He doesn't do anything where you're like, okay, I understand where you're coming from. 90% of the time, Alita 1 is against what he's doing, and I'm kind of like, I kind of agree with Alita 1 over here. Like, this seems like more sense. And even sometimes during this show in particular, you honestly kind of think maybe the Decepticons have the right idea. Like, they don't do a good job at making you think the Decepticons are the bad guys in this, and they are the good guys. They do that a lot better in Earthrise, one of the few things they do better in Earthrise. But still, like, at times you're like, I'm not really on board with the Autobot cause. I'm not gonna lie to you. But overall, it's fine. There are memorable scenes. I will say that. Like I said, the Sound Blaster scene was extremely cool. I like that scene a lot. That was honestly extremely cool. All the nods they gave, although it was pretty stupid that they were like, oh, drop your guns at the door. They have Cog there, who's just made of guns. Pretty stupid. And it was also funny that they went to rob him. They went to his Energon vault, and they just grabbed like two teeny tiny little rocks of Energon. I'm like, really? What the fuck was the point of that? That was so stupid. Because they bring him like Energon as a trade, and they rob him, and they just take like two little rocks of Energon. Like, it's so weird, dude. There were so many choices in this show that I just am so like, my eyebrows just go up. I'm just like, what the fuck? What was the thought process behind this, man? But yeah, the Sound Blaster scene was super cool. And then the scene, honestly, the final episode, honestly, pretty darn good. I think the final episode of this show in particular might be the best episode of all of these Netflix shows. Obviously, we don't have Kingdom yet, but I'm just gonna say it, my hopes are not high. But yeah, I thought the final episode was cool. Like, you had that cool confrontation. Optimus Prime is trying to get the Allspark through the space bridge, and Megatron's trying to stop him, and then fucking Omega Supreme busts out of the floor. Like, yes, that shit was epic. Oh my god, I love that. Maybe probably just because it's Omega Supreme, and I love Omega Supreme. So, yeah, that was just so awesome when he busts out of the floor, just starts fucking wrecking shit. That was absolutely awesome. I loved that scene. I liked that episode overall. That episode was certainly the one that really stuck in my head. Like, you can tell I clearly remembered that episode more than just about any other episode in the entire show. So, yeah, and what other memorable scenes were there? God, I can't even remember anymore. Oh, let's talk about Ultra Magnus's whole arc. That was kind of cool. I kind of like what they did with that. Didn't really go in many places, but it was kind of cool overall. Like, I definitely wasn't expecting them to kill him, and I thought it was kind of neat, his funny ass, his like pathetic ass disguise where you just put like a camouflage over him, like, who's that? Oh, it's Ultra Magnus. He literally was just Ultra Magnus with a black hood on. So yeah, and that was kind of fun overall. Like, the Ultra Magnus stuff, that was kind of cool. How they kind of did the like, what was it in particular? It was like, they killed him because he was like transmitting stuff to the Autobots, and they like tortured him or something. And there was something about a virus, like Shockwave walks in, he's like, I have a virus. I blatantly ripped that off of you, I'm sorry. But that killed me when I saw that video. Because I didn't really think much of that scene, and then I saw Thew's video on the show, and he totally like leaned in on that. I was like, yeah, that is actually pretty darn stupid and goddamn hilarious. So yeah, that was pretty fun overall. And the whole thing with the virus, that it would give them the location of the Allspark, I think that's what it was. Once again, I could be remembering that wrong because I have not watched this show. I have not rewatched this show because I just don't want to. But yeah, there's just, okay, bottom line here. Seige, while I definitely think it's the better of these two shows that have been released so far, it's just a nothing show. Like, there's a couple cool scenes, like the Omega Supreme scene and the Sound Blaster scene, but no part of this show is really gonna stick with me past, like, after the WFC trilogy is over and done with and we have Kingdom. This show is not gonna stick with me whatsoever, and I don't expect the Kingdom one to either very much. Like, this is just the prime example of a show that I just don't feel like you really get all that much from. You could skip this show, never watch it as a Transformers fan, and honestly, you'll be missing next to nothing. Like, you really will be. There's so much better Transformers media out there, animated, Prime, Beast Wars, Prime, the 1986 movie, Prime. Yeah, Prime. Just rewatch Prime. It'll give you exactly what you want, obviously, because Prime is just the best. I love Prime so much. But I can't really think of anything else to say about Seige. This is just one of those shows that I just don't really have that much of an opinion on. It's so strange, but I would say it's about a 5 out of 10, maybe a 4 out of 10, but I don't know. It's It's the most straightforward, nothing show that I think I have ever watched. Like, I just don't really have that much of an opinion on it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I just nothing it. I nothing it. That's what I think of Siege, which is certainly better because, spoiler alert, Earthrise I thought was absolute garbage, and we will get into that in the review of that, which will be coming very soon. So if you're excited for that, oof, it's gonna be loud. Alrighty, guys. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what's your thoughts on Siege in the comment section down below. What do you think of this chapter of the WFC trilogy? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you actually I know a lot of people think that this is the weaker one of the two. I have no idea how that's possible because Earthrise was just atrocious. But still, let me know what you think. All right. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. And this is DK Guillotine, signing out.